So as before, we start out with this thing, which is not our stuff, right? So as it says, edit app.js and save to reload. So we can do that. There's already an app component, right? We already have our building blocks that we need for a React app. We have index.html, which is in the public directory. So public directory does, stuff in the public directory doesn't necessarily get pre-processed the same way that our JavaScript files do. That's why they're in a separate directory from source. So index.html is already there. Index.html already has this empty element that's going to get replaced. We know those are 2 of the 4 requirements. Now it's titled React App, and let's change that to Chattering. Then we're done with index.html for a bit. We have index.js, where we have another one of our requirements. We call React DOM render app is our component, and we say which element from the page we're replacing with that. Since I'm not using semicolons, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of these just for consistency's sake, but don't feel like you need to. They're not hurting anything. Whoops. They're not hurting anything, but since I'm not going to use them, I want all my code to look the same. Then we have app.js, which is where our actual component is defined. I'm again going to get rid of the semicolons just because. I'm going to save to make sure I didn't break anything. I didn't break anything. So now this isn't our code, and I'd like this to be our code. So let's get rid of everything in between the opening and closing tag for the div. I will leave the div with the class name app there. Let's get rid of everything else, and just for the moment, I'll put in an H1 that says Chattering, just so I know for sure that my changes are there. Now before, it was importing this logo, which is now unused. In fact, if we save this, we'll get a little warning in our console that logo is defined but never used. We get warnings about variables that we declare but don't use. So let's just take that out of there. And in fact, we can delete the file logo.svg. That will not be used in our version of this thing. Save the file, and we're good. Now app CSS still has CSS in it that we didn't write, so I'll get rid of all that too. We'll start from a more or less blank slate. And this is what it should look like. Just an H1 hugging the left side of the screen. All we've really done is remove the boilerplate that create React app put there. Remove boilerplate, placeholder code. We don't need it. I'll just see what this does. That's what I thought.